Okay, this is Cindy Parham, Chair of Public Health and Safety. It's 8:49 p.m. We'll take attendance. I'm here, Cindy Parham, Vice Chair Bill Perugini, Secretary Laura Carson. Amy Ruggiero is here. I know Matt Ambrose is here. Anyone else? Is Will, Elizabeth, or Veronica present? Okay, I didn't see them at the meeting either, so I'm assuming they're not signing on, unless you guys know something.
Cindy, I'm just looking at what Karen sent out about presenters tonight, and for the burr roof replacement, she had Angela Papageorge doing it. There's nothing there for
Chris
no one
Vitale
from the Board of Ed is listed. They're not listed as presenters.
Okay, so we'll just continue on.
So that's why I guess she did that.
Yeah, maybe they came on, like I said, halfway through, and they thought they were going to be next, but she grouped them together.
But she didn't even have them listed as presenters.
Yeah. Right, I understand that, yeah.
They're
not on the presenter.
No.
So the first item that we're going to touch upon, and I just want to verify, Veronica, Elizabeth, and Will are all missing, right? Okay. The first item.
Did you call the meeting?
Guys, I'm sorry.
At 8:50?
Is this
it's
Matt?
Matt Ambrose. Yeah, it's Matt Ambrose.
You're in the right place, Matt.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I had like two numbers written down, so I just want to make sure. Sorry about that.
Oh, no problem at all. We just started. So
okay.
The first item we discussed or was brought up was Chris DeWitt from the Board of Finance, and he said he was there to answer questions on the tax relief and elderly and disabled homeowners ordinance. That's item number 10. There were no questions at this time. So really, if you've had a chance to read it, or we don't have to.
I looked over it. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, we don't have to vote on that because it's not a resolution. Is that correct, Bill? It just says to consider. Oh, it says to consider and act upon. Okay, it does say we have to
vote on senior tax relief.
Okay, so it does say act upon.
Okay, I didn't have any questions on that.
Yeah, so is there a motion to approve the tax relief for elderly and disabled homeowners? That particular ordinance. Okay, Bill?
Yep. This is Amy. I'll second.
Okay, Amy seconds. Any discussion regarding the ordinance? I believe if there's any questions at all about it, the ordinance, it was how the board would look in the future. And there is, if anyone wants more information, I have the ordinance, the changes they're looking to make, but I'm sure you do too. Whether or not parties from the Board of Finance as well as RTM members would be part of it. And I guess we'll discuss it more and vote on it next week. But if you have any questions on it, we could talk about it now. All right, so all those in favor. I'm sorry?
I'm just going to say they raised the amount that people make to include
this particular ordinance that
right. It showed you that it changed some of the numbers so that it includes some more people.
Yeah, and it actually also regarding the review committee and who would be on that review committee. A Board of Finance and RTM joint committee was what they are going to vote on as well as one of the pieces of it. So it seemed like instead of going from tax relief to Board of Finance, just have a joint committee was one of the biggest changes. So all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And anyone opposed? And any abstentions? Okay, so that passes unanimously. The second item that was discussed tonight is item 3, and that was the resolution. We'll do 3, 8, and 9 at the same time, and there were no questions, but it was the number 3 is authorizing the Board of Ed to the full roof replacement for elementary. Okay, and then we could vote on that one first since they're all different items. So do I have a motion for that Burr Elementary roof?
Laura will.
Okay. And I'll second that.
Amy
And
will
all in
second.
Amy would like to second that. Anyone have discussion regarding that? It seems like they just built it. My daughter was like in first grade. Okay, she's 24, so maybe that's why it's done.
Oh my God.
Okay. So all those in favor? Aye.
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 Is anyone opposed to a roof? Come on now. And anyone abstaining? Okay, so that passes unanimously. Number 3, which is also the same grouping, was resolved that the 15-year bond resolution for $1,750,000 for building automated system to upgrade Fairfield Ludlow High School, and authorizing bonds to finance this appropriation. Is there a motion for that?
I'll second.
Okay, so Matt's going to make a motion for this bond resolution, $1.750 million. Is there a second?
Laura
will second.
Okay,
Amy,
Laura.
after
And
Amy.
then is there any discussion regarding this bond for the automated system upgrade? So all those in favor of passing this?
Which number is that one?
Oh, this is number
Is that
8.
number-
Okay, so that's number 8
right?
for
That's
the
8.
bond
Sorry.
resolution.
And what was the first one? I think it's
3, number 3 for the Burr roof.
Okay.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
We have opposed. Okay, and then any abstentions from that? Okay, so that passed unanimously. The third in the series from the speaker was to hear number 9, to hear, consider, and act upon the Board of Finance that the 20-year bond resolution for $3.653,150, the cost of various Board of Education capital projects. So issuing bonds because they're all under $1 million to finance such appropriation. Is there a motion to approve that for the Board of Ed?
I will.
Okay, Matt will,
Bill,
and then Laura second.
Matt, yes. Yep,
Any
Matt
discussion
motion,
regarding
Laura second.
any discussion regarding the resolution? Okay. And all those in favor? Aye.
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 Anyone opposed?
Aye.
And Matt, you're opposed?
No, I'm
Oh,
for.
you're okay. Sorry, it's like a
No
time
problem.
delay. And then
Yeah, I know.
no abstentions. So that passed unanimously. Okay, the 5th item is number 4, and that is John Marsilio's presentation to hear, consider, and act upon the Board of Finance a resolution appropriating $3.920000 for the purchase of vehicles and equipment for the Department of Public Works. So that's $3,920,000. Is there a motion?
This is Amy Ruggiero on motion.
Okay. And there's a second to Amy?
Laura.
I'll second it. Okay, I'll do it, Laura, because you've been
Okay.
writing.
I've been
Okay, and then I'll talk for you while you write. And then any discussion regarding the purchase of these vehicles?
Wait.
Did anyone feel like they needed more information?
Bill,
Uh,
Bill,
um,
I have a question to Bill, because I think you've been. So, do you think were you around when these other proposals were made? Plans, I mean.
Yeah.
Do you think he should hire a consultant, or should he try to salvage what they have to maybe save some money? What do you think?
There's been a long time debate about this.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, of all of the individuals involved in DPW, and I don't know him, I haven't met him, but just based upon his presentation, I think he's got the best handle on this. So I would tend to follow his lead.
Okay.
What towns did he work in? I forgot. I think I researched it. Was it Trumbull? I don't even remember.
It was in the Valley. Was it in the Valley, Cindy?
I just know he was in a couple different towns. Okay, any more discussion on that? Okay, we'll take a vote. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And any abstentions? Okay, so that passes unanimously. Also, number 5, which is the 6th item we discussed, for also John Marsilio, to hear, act upon the following resolution. The resolution appropriating $1 million for costs related to road paving and authorizing the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation. Do I have a motion to approve? I'll make the motion. I think it's good. Anyone want to second it?
I'll second it, Cindy.
Okay, Bill. Any discussion regarding the $1 million for paving?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? And abstentions. Okay, passed unanimously. There's two more items. One is number 6, which is Jared Schmidt talked about, resolved that the bond resolution entitled a resolution amending and restating the resolution entitled, this is appropriating $2,897,276 for costs associated with establishment of the Fairfield Westport Multi-Town Emergency Communication Centers of Westport, with Westport, and authorizing issuance of bonds to increase the amount of appropriation by $1,116,940 to a total of $4,014,216 be hereby approved. Do I have a motion to accept?
Can I ask a question real quick?
Well, we have to make a motion first.
Okay. No. You know what? Let's we'll proceed. Yeah.
Okay, so you want to make a motion, Matt, or anyone? Just so we can discuss it.
Amy, I'll motion.
Okay, Amy's going to make a motion.
Amy.
Anyone want to make a second?
Laura.
I'll make a second. And then now you wanted to discuss something, Matt?
No, I just wanted to. There's something I just kind of I didn't understand. It was it like an idea of this being a revenue generating type thing almost like I'm
I
sorry.
didn't think it was because it was the dispatch. It's the dispatch center for Fairfield Fire and Police, Westport Fire and Police, and New Canaan Fire. So does anyone think that there's any kind of revenue generating? Bill, I don't think
that. I just don't understand.
No,
I didn't understand.
I think the idea is to recruit more municipalities to further defray the cost. So right now, we're putting the capital costs, but my concern is with the operating costs. And the fact that we're paying 2/3, and I get it. I understand the premise that we've got twice the population and arguably double the call volume, although we didn't see any data validating that. But, everything in life is negotiable. I would just love to take another bite at the apple and better negotiate the terms. I mean, right now it's domiciled at, Sacred Heart. Sacred Heart is allowing us to use the facility without a lease because they're not paying any taxes to our town. So, Westport is benefiting from that dynamic. But most importantly, Westport is in a much healthier financial position than we are. Their mill rate is like 10 points lower. And, we're in a tough time right now. So I would like to see the town of Westport or other municipalities pay more towards, or contribute more so that our operating cost is, diminished to half or even less.
I agree.
So do you think we should ask for some more data? Because I feel like when Captain Smith and Chief Liddy were discussing this a year ago, those of you who were or maybe before this last term of RTM members, it was very, there was a lot of reports about call volume, and I haven't seen a report since Captain Smith discussed it with our group. So I haven't seen the numbers.
Yeah, I would just like more details on the process. I mean, Cindy, I'd like to better understand who negotiated
it.
Bill,
I think the general idea, I'm still behind. I'm still behind the general idea of the, I think it's a great idea of the, having one coordinated place that serves, a couple different municipalities. I just don't want to bear the full. I don't want to bear an inordinate cost, that I think should be deferred to maybe other towns. You know what I mean? I think that it should be.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Saying that Jared did say they're looking to get other towns on board that would become revenue.
Okay.
Defray the costs. I guess I don't know if it's
but that wasn't promised. That was. They were going to be.
And he said there are towns that are interested. He did say that.
I think overall it would be a great thing, and I would want to make sure that
I think they could service.
Okay.
Right.
Hey, Matt,
Bill,
maybe this is a good time for us to ask for this data. So
I think so.
So should we be asking for the data that came to the conclusion for us to contribute that number? Because I could send an email to Karen for her to ask Chief Calamaris to get back to us on how those numbers came about and how exactly the percentage Fairfield contributing came about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Who negotiated it, and if we could, again, Chief Calamaris seemed to be unclear of the specific terms. But I'd like to take another shot at this and perhaps negotiate a better deal so that our ongoing operating costs are defrayed.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I'm all for it too.
I think it's I'm all for it. I mean,
our dispatch is in a flood zone, right, Bill? When you had planned the tour last time, that was like the first thing they said. We're sitting in a flood zone. It's not a good place to be.
Yeah, we're very vulnerable position, obviously.
Okay, so I'll make a note to Karen tonight to through her to ask the chief and Captain Buccarati, because he was apparently the new Captain Smith that's involved with this project, because I don't see Captain Smith's name on anything anymore. So that makes sense. So for now we have a first and a second, a motion and a second. So I'm going to abstain, but does anyone want to say aye at this point or nay? Does anyone want to abstain?
So I guess I'd vote in favor of it, but with the caveat, the suggestion that we look at this, and so and again, I'm like I think several of you that I just would like more detail. So I'm in favor of it, but nonetheless, I just don't think it's fair that we're paying 2/3. So what do those operating costs include? So we're paying. There are employees. But does that factor in the cost to keep those employees and their benefits and their health care and their pension? So I think there's a lot more involved with this. I just think I feel that we should have the opportunity to renegotiate the terms of this moving forward so that our operating costs are reduced to as little as they could possibly be, given all that we're
also. Yeah.
So then
I agree with that totally.
Other people on our committee agree with that.
So how do you want to do the vote?
So it would be approval with more information.
Okay.
I guess also I want to know how committed some of these. I know it's you can't really gauge the commitment of another town or other towns or their But I mean, I kind of if you could give me a sense of how curious or how maybe committed some of these other towns are to actually joining and kind of going all in with us. I mean, that would be a good gauge too, because to say that they're interested is one thing. To say that they're they think it's interesting is another thing. You know what I mean?
Okay. So we only heard about commitment of Westport and New Canaan. We didn't hear about commitment from other.
But to say, other towns are talking about it, but okay, but are they? How much are they talking? How committed or how interested are they? You know what I mean? Because if we make this big commitment, and they end up saying, hey, it's just not worth it, then we're on the hook for pensions and other things, and we're gonna have to bear that cost. And if they don't sign up, we're kind of like, hey, well, it was it was a good try, and that just doesn't cut it.
Right, we have to move. Maybe some of these towns don't have to, and they're willing to use their somewhat antiquated, or maybe it's upgraded enough for them, the automation that they have.
Because we have a bigger population, and some of these other towns may not. It may work for them what they're already doing. I just think that in a way it's almost like okay, so we're at a population point where it makes a lot of sense for us to upgrade, to do whatever, to join, to create this thing. Some of these other towns that may be inquiring, it may not make as much sense because they don't have the call volume. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if
else
that
have a
makes sense
comment?
or
No, it
Yes.
totally makes sense.
Amy
Totally makes
Ruggiero.
sense.
I
Amy.
wanted to say that I would think that we would have to know some of this information before we made some hiring for the center. If we're going to have more people, because then we're taking on costs without knowing how, it's going to be spread. And the other thing is we are getting the space for free from a Fairfield location. So I would think that would be helpful because it is reducing by getting that free space. The other towns, share just that alone.
Right. For 25 years.
Yeah.
For 25 years.
Exactly.
So that's a long time
And
for
it's
free.
Yeah.
It's a university that used to be a corporation that used to pay a lot of property tax that we gave up because it went to a nonprofit.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And meanwhile, they're probably making that contribution because, like Fairfield U, there's tons of calls that the Fairfield police have to respond to. Like in the beach area on that border between Bridgeport and Fairfield, if you speak to the leadership of the police department, they're ongoing. I mean, probably half of the calls to that town are being deployed to address student concerns with Fairfield and Sacred Heart. So, I think in good faith, they're extending the olive branch. And, certainly we're paying the price through the calls, relative to our police department, but certainly Westport's benefiting. So for that reason and many others, I think whatever we could do to get them to invest more would be certainly in our best interest in the long term.
Okay. So again, to wrap it up, I'll email Karen and ask for more specifics regarding the data and how we came to that contribution and what percentage and why. Okay, so we didn't vote on it, so it's going to be voted on if you want to say yay, but with information forthcoming at the next meeting. So I'm going to vote yay in that regard. Anyone else?
In that regard, I'll second and yay. Yeah.
Yeah, we already had a second, so it's just the yay. And anyone
yay.
not approving or abstaining completely? Okay, so with more information, we're all on board for the project. The next and the last item is the to hear and act upon the resolution by the Board of Finance for the 20-year bond resolution entitled Resolution Appropriating $4,303,000 for the cost of certain non-recurring capital projects and authorizing the issuance of bonds. Again, this is for items under $1 million that all get kind of put together on the capital project. So is there a motion to approve?
I'll motion.
Okay, Matt, and a second?
Amy
I'll
will
make a second. Or Amy will second. And then anyone want to discuss that? We don't really have any specifics. It's just everything added together makes up that amount for these non-recurring capital projects. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nobody? Okay, abstentions? All right, it passes. Now, we don't have anything else on our agenda, but next month, when hopefully we have a full 8 of us on the call, I'm going to send all of you the minutes that, if you didn't see them online, Laura put together a beautiful 3.5-page minutes of our committee meeting that we had on February 24th with the police department. So what I thought we could do is if you got these minutes that I'll send you by tomorrow, just kind of look at them to see if there's any issues that you feel were not resolved with our conversation with the police department and things that you want to continue to discuss. And the only way we could discuss it really and vote on anything is if we put it on the agenda for public health and safety for the April meeting. So I'll plan on doing that, but I'll make sure you all have Laura's minutes so in case you didn't access them online. So now it's 9:13, and I'd like to make a motion I'd like to accept a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second that.
Okay, so I'll make the motion and Matt will second it. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, so we'll talk to you next month, and we'll put this follow-up on the agenda so that we can discuss it. Oh, but we'll discuss it next month at our April committee meeting.
And by the way,
all right, have a good night.
Karen sent an email about the meeting. Hello?
What'd she say? Yeah, I'm still here.
She sent an email to all of us about she apologizes. She thought Mr. Papa George was the one doing it and didn't realize. Just look out for the email. You'll see it.
Oh, okay.
All right.
All right. We'll talk to you
We'll
next
discuss
week.
it next
Hey,
week.
have a good night.
Well, next week.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Okay.
Have a good
Thank
week.
you.
All right.